Hey guys, welcome to R2R Bible Talk, and I am Jayla Waters. I am the leader of Revelation Revolution Ministry, and it has a podcast under it, and also R2R Women of Christ. We are a Bible study group that meet every Wednesday at 7 online via Zoom. Right now we are doing the 62 days of Proverbs, but if you are a male, you can still follow along with the videos. I would recommend it because starting in Proverbs is a good book for beginners, and it also provides just a guide on just getting into the Bible again. But anyway, so the main idea of chapter 3 is to allow the Lord to guide you so that you may have long life and peace. But if you translate it, it actually translates to eternal life in the Hebrew text. So this also means is the going to the promise of living in heaven. But he guides us by giving us truth, advice, and warnings, as well as wisdom. And it's up to us to keep these warnings and the truth and advice in our heart. Pay attention. That's why I say it's up to us. Pay attention to in this chapter where it talks of let you or let us, because it's basically just pointing out the fact that it's up to you to keep this with you. It's up, you allow it to leave you and you allow it to come back to you. But anyways, I just want to point out that the purpose of this chapter is because like God he wrote this because he wants to free us from our past, our anxiety and our sin. Sorry, I almost had to say that correctly. But anyways, we tend to actually not like the things that we do outside of God's presence. We don't really realize it at first. It's like an unconscious thing, but it's simply because we end up in this cycle that the devil has us trapped in. And once we move outside of God's presence, we begin to notice, like if we fall back into sin, we'll notice the consequence more, and it may seem like too much, and it may seem like a lot, but just don't allow this to deter you from your relationship with God. But yeah, he wants to free us from that cycle. He doesn't want us falling into the ways of the devil, into the trap or the cycles of the devil. But also because of Jesus' sacrifice, we can always return to him without having to, do the most. But anyway, so verses 1 through 12 is advice for the young that leads to eternal life. 13 through 24 is a poem about wisdom, basically like the value of wisdom. And 25 to 33 are warnings of God that wisdom will help you heed and avoid. But yeah, so let's get into reading. My son, do not forsake my law, but let your heart keep my commandments. Let your heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life, and peace they will add to you. Let not mercy and truth forsake you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. And excuse me. And so find favor and high esteem in the sight of God and men. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all the ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It will be health to your flesh and strength to your bones. Honor the Lord with all your possessions, with your first fruits of all your increase. So your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, which is like the correction, nor detest his correction. For whom the Lord loves, he corrects, just as a father, the son in whom he delights. But yeah, now I just want to point out that anything that you don't know or you feel like you want to remember, questions you may have, write down the questions, circle the words you don't know, and highlight the verses that you want to remember, and as well as write them down. But yeah, continuing 13 through 24, this is a poem about valuing wisdom. Happy is the man who finds wisdom and the man who gains understanding, for her proceeds are better than the profits of silver, and her gain than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things you may desire cannot compare with her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and her paths are paths of peace. She is the tree of life to those who take hold of her, and happy are all who retain her. Retain her, not just take hold of her. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth, and by understanding he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the depths were broken up. The clouds dropped down. And the clouds drop down the dew. My son, let them not depart from your eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, so they will be life to your soul and grace around your neck. Then you will walk safely in your way, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. Yes, when you lie down, and your sleep will be sweet. Do not be afraid. Now it's going into the warnings of God that wisdom will help you heed and avoid. But do not be afraid of sudden terror, nor of trouble from the wicked when it comes. For the Lord will be your confidence, and you will keep your foot from being caught. Do not withhold good from those whom it is due, when it is in your power. When the power is in your hands to do so. Do not say to your neighbor, go and come back, and tomorrow I will give it to you when you have it with you. Do not devise evil against your neighbor, for he dwells by you for safety's sake. This is meaning that, you ever heard the saying that if your neighbor gets blessed, that just means the blessings are in the neighborhood? Well, if you're devising evil on your neighbor, evil is in the neighborhood still. Do not strive with a man without cause, if he has done you no harm. Do not envy the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the perverse person is an abomination to the Lord, but his secret counsel is with the upright. The curse of the Lord is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the just. Surely he scorns the scornful, but gives grace to the humble. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the legacy of fools.